Folks, a little bit of a sneak preview there. You guys might have remembered when I did those parts there, and used for hooking to aluminum extrusion. And of course I wanted to make a few other adjustments and whatnot and make things a little bit more useful. And then I came up with the 45-degree connector, which connects the aluminum extrusion to itself at 45 degrees. And if you notice here, I've done a couple, and I've been testing some of that white PLA I just got from 3D Creator here in town. And you can see here, this part holds it nicely and sort of gives a preview of like the kind of frame you could make. I didn't make anything too extravagant there. One of the other parts I did make with that white PLA, I'm going to show you here right now. If my machine will focus on it. We'll see if it will. There we go. It's not too bad. It's 4 little bearings, 5mm inside, 10.1mm on the out. White PLA, really freaking strong. I did have to use the PLA at 214 degrees to get it to bond this strong. There wasn't hardly any string. Like, that's the way it pretty much came off the print bed. I just pulled the brim off the bottom, and I'm using just the axles for the bearings are actually just modeled PLA that I'd put holes in to put screws down, but I left a little lip. I don't know if you can see that comes up a little bit. There's a tiny bit of a lip on there that you have to push the bearing past. And it's been holding them on and working great. And what you would do, of course, they fit on the V of aluminum. I mean, that's pretty cool. You can use it as a little trolley or whatever. Now what gets even cooler is if you have a system where you can have 2 rails held together, and you have a second one. I'm just going to push that up like this. Now this is just some foam rubber here that was what my control sticks and my quadcopter's radio came packaged with. And then now you have a block. And the grease is still fresh in those bearings. I should have washed it out a bit because it's kind of slowing them down a bit. But now you have a carriage, and I mean that will probably end up holding one of my lasers. I got my old red laser that some of you might remember from older videos, and I might hook that up over a flatbed scanner. So this would be the x-axis, and the scanner's flatbed would be the y-axis, and might go with that. Obviously, you could duplicate this setup again, except these bars would be between the I guess you'd call them trucks or trolleys or whatever. And then you would actually have your X and Y in the frame, and then you could, of course, put a Z-axis below or a Z-axis below, depending on what country you're in. How you want to pronounce that. And then of course you would have like the starting with a very small 3D printer. The plastic in total in the setup is probably 30 cents, 40 cents worth. It takes about 2 hours on my little Fabricator Mini to print these because I have to make sure the layer bonding is really good. So high heat and slow. And then you got to sand in the crevices or whatnot. Same for the little trolley there, or the carriage. And you get nice strong parts. In fact, I thought they wouldn't be strong enough for this, but they're strong. Like, I'm trying to twist that there, and they hold up really good. In fact, I'm just going to swap sides, because this side I have the orange, that's the orange PLA that I was working with before. It's incredibly strong. That's the newer white PLA that I picked up the other night, and also very strong, but it works at a lower temperature than the orange. And it's what the little sides of the carriage are made out of. And it's working pretty good. What I want to do is maybe get one of my Arduino Nanos or something like that, and a couple motor drivers or something, and get this working as the x-axis over top of a flatbed scanner. But we'll see when that comes. Anyhow, I'm going to put some pictures at the end of this, and these files will be available probably on Tinkercad, and I'll put links below once I get them cleaned up and set up. And there'll be some photographs at the end of this for those who want to stay on after it. Otherwise, like if you like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Okay, for those of you that hung on there's some pictures of me going through iterations of what the axle dimensions would be versus what they were inside Tinkercad, and then trying them out in different configurations. And once I got them working and had a working size for a straight up or 45 degrees, I tried the 45-degree block on a piece of aluminum angle, and then realized I could do a very simple edit to that block, and then I'd have like a little carriage runner side of a carriage that would easily run on the aluminum and just sit there. I mean, gravity was holding it in place, and was keeping the bearings right in the middle of the aluminum. It wasn't just on an edge. As you can see, these things are pretty small. So I thought, geez, I'll make a second one, and I should be able to trap them on the aluminum extrusion. I mean, there was a mock-up inside Tinkercad of what I was thinking before I made them, and then, of course, there they are. They worked that way. It wasn't really that much of a problem. And, of course, they work on top, and the way that they're laid out, gravity just kind of holds them well. Then obviously if they were back to back, you could trap them between two bars, and then you would have parts of a stage or a carriage. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.